Hey there. Ever come across a coin that's small, shiny, and packed with centuries of history? Well, get ready, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the United Kingdom's One Shilling coin. This isn't just some old piece of metal. It's a time capsule that tells the story of monarchs, empires, wars, and everyday people who once held it in their hands. So sit back, maybe grab a cup of tea, and let's take a walk through British history, one shilling at a time. Let's rewind all the way back to the 1500s, specifically 1549. That's when the very first shilling coin was issued, during the reign of King Edward VI. Just imagine it. England was in the midst of major religious and political changes, and this coin represented a new kind of monetary system. Back then, it was made of silver, and it was worth 12 pence, which sounds pretty straightforward until you realize the whole British currency system before decimalization was famously complicated. What's cool is that the name shilling probably comes from the Old English word silling, which referred to a unit of account rather than an actual coin. So when the shilling coin finally became a real thing, it was kind of like turning an idea into something tangible. Think of it as the OG crypto before the blockchain. Now, the designs on the one shilling coin changed a lot over the years, depending on who was ruling at the time. During Edward VI's reign, the coin featured his portrait, as you'd expect. But as we move through history, the coin becomes a canvas of British monarchy. Elizabeth I, James I, Charles I, they all had their own versions. Some of these coins are super rare and incredibly valuable today, especially the ones that managed to survive the English Civil War and other historical shakeups. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we get into the coins that most people today might have actually seen or even held. Starting in the early 1900s, the shilling was a regular part of British currency. It was one of those coins that people would use daily for a pint, a paper, maybe even some fish and chips. Back then, a shilling went a long way. When Queen Elizabeth II took the throne in 1952, the one shilling coin got a fresh design. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There were actually two different versions of her shilling. Why? Because of the whole England versus Scotland thing. The English version had 3 lions, while the Scottish version had a lion rampant. It was a way of acknowledging the separate identities within the United Kingdom. And honestly, it's kind of cool that even a coin could reflect that. In 1967, the production of one shilling coins using silver or any precious metal was long gone. These coins were now made from cupronickel, which is mostly copper and nickel. They looked the same, felt the same, but didn't have the same shine or value as the older silver coins. Still, they were part of everyday life in Britain right up until decimalization. Decimalization, Britain's big currency makeover in 1971. That was the year the old pounds, shillings, and pence system was replaced with a simpler, more modern decimal system. In this new system, 1 pound was equal to 100 new pence, and the shilling, which had been worth 12 old pence, was effectively turned into 5 new pence. For a while, the old one shilling coins were still accepted as 5p coins, but by 1990, they were phased out. Now here's the thing, those old one shilling coins, they're collector's items now. Not all of them, of course. Some are still super common, and you can find them online for just a couple of pounds. But others, especially ones in mint condition or from rare years, can be worth a surprising amount. And the silver ones? Those are definitely more valuable because of the metal content alone. There's something special about holding a coin that's been through decades or even centuries of history. It makes you think about all the people who used it before you. Maybe it bought someone's first train ticket. Maybe it was part of a soldier's pay during the war. Or maybe it just sat in someone's pocket during a regular day at the market. And speaking of markets, did you know that shillings played a major role in everyday British commerce? Before decimalization, people were absolute pros at figuring out prices in pounds, shillings, and pence. It might sound confusing now, but back then it was second nature. You had to be quick with math, because prices weren't always neat and tidy like they are now. But it also gave the currency a certain charm, a sense of tradition and complexity that some people actually miss. Coins like the one shilling piece also have this way of telling stories, without words. Just the design alone, a crest, a portrait, a date, can reveal so much about the political climate, cultural values, and even artistic trends of the time. And that's why numismatics, the study of coins, isn't just for historians. It's for anyone who loves a good story. So yeah, the 1 shilling coin might be small, but it carries a heavyweight legacy. From its origins in the 1500s to its final years as a 5p substitute, it's seen kings, queens, revolutions, reforms, and more. And the best part? It's still out there, waiting to be discovered in an old drawer, a dusty attic, or a collector's album. And that's exactly where the beauty of this humble coin lies. The United Kingdom One Shilling coin isn't just an artifact. It's a storyteller. As we move further into the 20th century, it's worth noting how important this coin was to the British public. Whether you were buying a newspaper or paying a bus fare, the shilling was a key part of everyday transactions. Children would get it as pocket money, while adults relied on it for day-to-day purchases. Imagine going into a corner shop in 1935 with a single shilling. You could get a pint of milk, a loaf of bread, and still have change left over. That's how powerful the buying capacity of 1 shilling was at one point in time. Another interesting layer of history is how the shilling became a symbol of empire. During Britain's colonial era, the 1 shilling coin was used not just in the United Kingdom, but also throughout the Commonwealth. That means coins were minted in places like South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. Though the designs were often slightly different, they carried the same denomination, the same value, and often the image of the reigning monarch. Holding a shilling from Kenya or Jamaica alongside one from London really highlights the global reach of British currency at the time. And while we're talking designs, let's not forget the incredible artistry behind these coins. During the reign of King George VI, for instance, the reverse of the coin showed a crowned lion standing atop a crown, a bold and powerful symbol of monarchy and strength. This design was used from 1937 to 1951 and remains one of the most recognized shilling designs today. Meanwhile, Scottish versions bore a different look, honoring their heritage with their own emblematic lion. These visual distinctions aren't just beautiful. They represent the unity and diversity within the United Kingdom. After Queen Elizabeth II came to the throne, the Royal Mint introduced new shilling, designs reflecting her image and title. The obverse featured the youthful portrait of the Queen, surrounded by the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which means Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen. These inscriptions weren't just formalities. They were echoes of Britain's long-standing traditions and its deep connection between the crown and the currency. As demonetization approached in the 1960s, the role of the shilling began to shift. The British public knew a big change was coming, and many people felt nostalgic, even resistant. After all, the pound-shilling pence system had been in place for centuries. It was a quirky but deeply British way of counting money. Losing the shilling was more than just losing a coin. It was saying goodbye to a piece of national identity. Still, practicality won out. On February 15, 1971, Decimal Day, the UK officially transitioned to the decimal currency system. Suddenly, pounds were divided into 100 pence, and the once familiar shilling was repurposed as the new 5-pence coin. The transition was smooth, but the emotional weight lingered. Older generations continued to refer to prices in shillings for years, and you'll still hear nostalgic references in films, books, and conversations to this day. But the story doesn't end there. Even after their demonetization in 1990, 1 shilling coins found new life in the world of collectors. Some people collect them by reign, focusing on coins from George V, George VI, or Elizabeth II, while others focus on rare errors or unique minting years. For example, a 1946 shilling in excellent condition can fetch a nice price due to its silver content and historical significance. And any coin minted before 1947 was made with 50% silver or more, adding even more value for collectors. Then there are the wartime shillings. Coins minted during the Second World War often carry subtle signs of the era, whether it's the quality of the metal, the wear from circulation, or even small design modifications. These coins feel like echoes from the past. They were handled by soldiers, factory workers, nurses, and civilians tried to maintain normal life amid the chaos. Holding one of these wartime shillings is like holding a quiet piece of resilience and survival. It's also worth exploring how this coin connects generations. For many British families, 1 shilling coins are passed down as heirlooms. They're found in old biscuit tins, tucked into drawers, or slipped inside books. Grandparents might show them to grandchildren, sharing stories of ration books and market stalls, of a time when 1 shilling actually meant something real. That emotional connection gives a coin a second life. It's not just about monetary value anymore. It's about memory, identity, and history. Let's also touch on the materials used. As mentioned earlier, older shillings were made of silver, but over time, especially post-1947, they transitioned to cupronickel. This change was mostly due to rising costs of silver and the need for more affordable coin production. While these cupronickel coins don't have the same intrinsic value, they remain historically important.